Pen was say more maturity and a campaign, sir. Agyapong Akyea bono, and yet necessary because movie are most saying here, sir, unity no, and that they are 2020. They are woo ye, sir, unity moving.
Me say, Obi anto Agyapong. Obi se Baumia and who are connoissing Obi. And no one can. Agyapong is saying, Oba campaign say, Oba project to Obia. On Castle, way no moon, way no compare, way necessary a Twabanaman. How would you campaign without doing comparative advantage? Because say Oyabua, because you drying, because you no answer. I didn't insult him. I was only telling him so, given his political temperament, no. Baby, I'm person who go to me. I said, Tetian, or no answer or do MPP, no way, nya. Obeka so on campaign. Now you're selfish, and yummy and say, what do you say to that? How can somebody beg you, say, Mama, dom, say, MPP, now person all year from Gatuni. Yan farmer when you're in Tini and say, hey, Nene Bia,
Pen was say more maturity and a campaign.
What do you make of the statement by former Works and Housing Minister, even though your candidate's name was not mentioned, but there are speculations that he could be referring to him?
Thank you. I think that the party is that we have the situation on hand, which people believe is a very tricky one. A very tricky one in the sense that leading up to this election, there's been a lot of language, a lot of comment, which has not inured the last piece, the togetherness of the party, and even the image of the party. So looking at someone, an otherwise respected person like Honorable Atta, who all of us look up to as role models, both in the legal profession and in politics.
Smart gun update.
I was expecting more language which unites the party, language that brings everybody together, and language that makes it easier or very easy for the party to move forward after the election. Looking at the lines he's towing and like that, especially of someone of his caliber, I think it's quite unfortunate. I believe that people of their caliber should be the ones who fall in with the younger ones and others in the party to order when people make such unfortunate comments, especially at this particular stage where we are not even too sure of how we can bring the party together after the election. And a lot of party leaders, a lot of social commentators and others have shown lots of concern. So I think that we should all strive to do better. And that goes to both we, the younger ones, and people as astute and respected as he is. I think that, listening to the comments, I think the most important thing for Ghanaians is the person who can solve Ghana's problems. Someone who can end unemployment, someone who puts in place the right structures to build a robust economy so we don't get back to the situation that we were in a few months ago and recurrent nature of going to the IMF. Ghana as a country has been to the IMF for several reasons, for 18 different times, and this was not a good thing. So we need someone to provide such long-lasting solutions, and that should be the candidate that the MPP should be looking for.
Now, of course, we all know Kennedy Agyapong, a fiery politician in the country, and there are many suggestions that the language that Akyea was saying probably was the language that the ordinary Ghanaian on the street or the MPP delegate was thinking, that due to how we know Kennedy Agyapong, perhaps Akyea was right, don't you think?
Hello, Kenneth. Yes. So, on the issue of temperament and character traits, I think Ghanaians are more interested in someone who has the character traits to fight corruption. I think Ghanaians are more interested in someone who has the character traits to call their own people to order when they do wrong. Ghanaians are not looking for someone who is weak in character, someone who is not able to ensure that the right thing is done at the right time. You remember the vice president during the thank you tour, former vice president, told us that one of the main reasons that the MPP lost was arrogance of power. And if you would agree with me, it is the president or the vice president, the people in charge, who would have to make sure that their subordinates or people they have appointed into office actually are not arrogant or actually exhibit the right character that they need to have in government. So Kennedy has that right temperament, that character trait to call people to order, the right temperament to actually take decisions and to ensure that the country moves forward. And I think one thing that Kennedy also has is competence. You see, Kennedy has given us a very simple or a very clear plan on what he wants to do in government, how he wants to use the private sector to catapult the socioeconomic development in the country. And competence is very important. I think that, from the last MPP government, it was very clear how we performed, especially on the issues of the economy. And Ghanaians, through the referendum or the last elections, actually showed us how they felt about how we manage the economy. So Ghanaians are looking for a leader who has very simple, easy, practical solutions that will move the country forward, that will end up ensuring that there are good jobs created for people to do. And I think that Kennedy is that person. I think that the delegates understand that he is the right man for Ghana at this right time. At every point in time in every country, there is that kind of situational leader who is needed for the development. If you may recall, Ghanaians voted for President Kufuor, who was a very cool, calm gentleman, at a point in time where there had been we had gone through different coups in the military era, and we needed someone who was calm, cool, gentle to ensure that the country stabilized and moves forward. Now Ghanaians need someone who has that strong character to push through development, who has that strong character to ensure that his job-creating agenda is realized, and who has that strong character to ensure that he calls his people to order and makes sure that his subordinates act the right way.
How is the campaign going?
So far, so good. Our campaign is going very well. Honorable Kennedy is in the Western region, engaging delegates, letting delegates know why they vote for him, letting delegates know that he is a situational leader that Ghana now, person to create jobs for Ghanaians, and the person, also very importantly, the person who can win power for the NPP. Honorable Aryuna, she's in the Ashanti region, also touring. She's done about 20 constituencies as of now, letting people know that, first of all, as delegates, Kennedy Agyapong is the person who can win power for the NPP. Secondly, that Kennedy is the one who can create jobs for Ghanaians. You know, the issue of jobs is the number one issue here in Ghana.
Right.
From our national security reports, from every survey, we realize that the biggest threat to the stability of the country, the biggest threat to our economy is the issue of jobs. And Honorable Kennedy, through his experience, through his vision, we know that he is that man to create jobs for people.
Right.
So they are going around spreading their good word, focusing on their message and how to get delegates to vote for them.
Right. And also joining me on the telephone line is Dr. Akyea Amuako. He's the deputy spokesperson for the Bawumia campaign team. Let me bring in Dr. Akyea Amuako in at this point. Grateful for your time this afternoon. You're also crisscrossing the country with the former Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia. How is the campaign going so far?
Oh, the reception has been awesome. The reception from the Eastern region has truly been overwhelming, especially in the Peru enclave, where we expected some sort of indifference, but it wasn't like that. It was quite clear that the Eastern region is so strongly behind His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, not just because of his good character and his temperament and his dependability for the party over the years, but also because of the very clear articulated vision he has for the development of this country.
Smart Gan update.
He creates, it's very easy to go on that vision of sort of thinking of saying, I can do
Smart
this.
Gan update.
Without proving to us or without telling us exactly how you are going to do it, it is only a wish. It's only waxing lyrical, which almost anybody can do. But we, on the other hand, have been able to demonstrate over the years that we have a clear plan to be able to move the country forward. The delegates, the responses that we've been getting from the delegates in the Eastern region has also been quite simple, that they all stood behind His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in 2023. Indeed, this was after he had studiously and very diligently stood behind the former president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa for 16 years, over 3 elections before he succeeded. And he was able to do that honor for His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa, who hails from the region. So they see no reason why, after supporting him massively in 2023, they should change him. That's been the sentiment on the ground, that nobody has been able to give them any cogent reason to change their position from what they held in 2023. They see no problem with His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. They are still strongly behind his character, his temperament, and his vision to develop this country.
Dr. Akyea, you've spoken about temperament about 2 times. Dr. Amwako, I beg your pardon. You've spoken about temperament about 2 times during this conversation, and that has been the center of this campaign. You've heard the former Works and Housing Minister, Samuel Atta, saying that they shouldn't vote for someone who is not temperamental enough. What do you make of that statement, and who do you think he was referring to?
Oh, I can't answer that question. I am not in the mind of the former honorable member of parliament, so I do not know what he meant. But on the issue of temperament, I think it's very important for members of the because we are choosing a flag bearer who we are going to present to the entire Ghanaian population to be able to be a trust so that they can report enough the authority to lead the country again. So it is very important, especially for a country as conservative as Ghana, that we present somebody that is a unifying figure, somebody that is not divisive, somebody that most Ghanaians can trust the stewardship of the country to. And I think with that, you cannot look at that equation without the issue of temperament.
That means the temperament is really a concern for the Bawumia camp as well. But
no, it's not. It's not really. I don't want to put it in the context of a concern for the Bawumia camp. I am very sure it's a concern for the Ghanaian, for the Ghanaian voter. You remember during the tenure of the late Professor Samuel, he was Ghana have always we're a very conservative country. We are very peaceful. We do not really enjoy the rabble-rousing style of doing things. That is why even when the people that are sort of known for giving us attacks, when they receive attacks, they are quick to rebut and call them unfortunate and all of that, because they can tell that it is not good. So you can imagine we finish the primaries. The NDC is not going to hold back on reminding Ghanaians the kind of things that have been said by some candidates. So I personally, and this is my personal opinion, but I cannot speak for the honorable member, and I do not know who he was referring to.
But overall, you think that he made a good point, although you say you do not know who he was referring to, but you think he made a good point to delegates that you should vote for somebody who will not disgrace Ghana outside of the country.
I am going to throw that question back to you, my dear. What do you think about that? Don't you think that it's important to Ghanaians that we have a president that would have the character, the moral, the emotional intelligence and temperament to be hold all of us together? I think that should be a rhetorical question.
And of course, the 2 leading figures to lead the new patriotic party is obviously your candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and Kennedy Agyapong. Their temperaments, people say, are parallel. People say that Dr. Bawumia is on the calmer side, where Kennedy Agyapong is a bit tough on certain things. Do you think that this statement that Akyea was making was probably in reference to him, and do you think he has a case to make that statement?
You see, you tried to ask me the same question in about 3 different ways, and the answer will remain the same. I don't know what was in the mind of the Honorable Akyea. I have not had the opportunity to speak to him after that engagement. But if we are talking about the issue of temperament and the issue of the quality of character and precedence, I think every Ghanaian will agree that it's very important.
Dr. Akyea, I'm grateful for your time this afternoon. I wish you all the best in your...